Good morning, everybody. I wanted to show you real quickly another way that I am drying my herbs and peppers because I'm drying peppers for red crushed pepper. Want to make some chili powder, onion powders, anything that I can process my plants from. So I'm a firm believer in use everything from leaves to all the things from your harvest. Like when you even have like onions, if you grew onions, harvest your onions, take those nice green tops, dry them out, and put them in your blender, and you got onion powder. I did the same thing for my garlic. I even made a garlic solution with dish liquid as a insect repellent for the plants, to kill insects and things of that nature. So you can always find something to do with the leafy parts of your fruiting plants. Teas, all the things. But here's another way that I dehydrate them. Now you can use a dehydrator, which do know that the dehydrator will um, kill some of the benefits of that specific plant. So just take that into consideration. So I try to air dry as much as possible, especially while we got the heat and while we got the sun. So the greenhouse is really working out for me because I can dry those things in here. I just purchased this little get up off of woot.com, which is like a sister company of Amazon. So sometimes you can get stuff a little cheaper on there. It's called Woot, WOOT.com. And just subscribe and they'll always send you something like what's on sale. So I got this for like $9. You know, with tax, probably about $11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiers. And so within these tiers, you can unzip, and when you unzip, you got a mesh. This is almost so things can dry. Now, the one thing I will say is the holes are not tiny, tiny, tiny. So I found that with certain leaves, like herbs or whatever I'm trying to dry, I have to really be careful because the residue will drop down to the next tier when I'm harvesting. Some will fall, fall through. So if you want to prevent that, you can put a towel, maybe some parchment paper, something like that to keep that from happening. I'm going to slowly turn over to the other side of the greenhouse, and this was the very first one that I had, and it's only 2 tiers. Right now, these are chili peppers, and then it's another type of chili pepper. I think this is the Fresno. So I'm drying this in these instead of putting it in a dehydrator. You know, you can always put them in a sunny window. If I can unzip this with one hand, you can always put it in a sunny window, and it takes time, but be patient. And you want to make sure there's proper airflow, because you don't want them to be all together to the point where maybe the outside is getting dry and the inside isn't. So you want to kind of make sure things are moving around and have proper airflow. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to do a couple of things. One of the things I did is I cut up some of the Fresno chili peppers because I noticed in the other drying bag that some of them were trying to get a little moldy on the tip. So that means lack of airflow. So probably when I had this closed up on a hot day or whatever, it wasn't enough air circulating. So I cut some of them in half and cut that off. So keep that in mind. Wherever you have it, make sure there's good airflow so nothing starts sweating or getting moldy. So I'm going to leave the window open. I'll leave this door open. They're actually right by the door, which is fine. I mean, I could still get through here. But again, I lined the bottoms. Like I said, these holes aren't very, very tiny. So if you're trying to do like a powder or something like that, I would suggest to lay something like this down, because again, if they're really, really dry and start breaking up, a little bit of that residue is going to fall to the next tier. So keep that in mind. And that's the only reason why I lined this one up. Again, easy ways are lay them in a window, a bright, sunny, airy room. Eventually they will dry out. It might take a little bit longer. I just wanted to come outside where it's nice and warm, and in a greenhouse that stays pretty toasty, but I got to keep the air flowing to dry them out. And some of them were drying out, like the Mexican chilies were drying. Then I had some chilies, Fresno chilies, that were drying. So these are cayenne, and I put a tag in there so I'll know what's what. This is the Fresno chili, and this is the Mexican chili. So I took the short one out, and now I'm just gonna keep this hung and keep an eye out on it, and just dry my stuff like this before I have to start using the dehydrator, because I'm trying not to use the dehydrator because I want to keep the nutrients, and I don't want to hear dehydrator going off for hours. Anyway, so I'm gonna go. Gotta get in here and get my day started. So you guys have a wonderful day and be blessed, but also be a blessing. Bye.